Part 75. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 745. Frederick the Great had personal contact with Iron Blood. Although the process was not very covered, few people knew that from that moment on, Tai Shui had already confirmed its cooperation with Qin Ji's fleet. This is also the reason why Bismarck was unusually quiet this time. However, looking at some familiar buildings in front of him and in his memory, Bismarck felt an indescribable feeling in his heart. Looking down at the vow ring on her hand, she couldn't help but think back to the night before. I wonder if I will be invited to Iron Blood this time. But I have already given the ring, so I'm afraid I won't be invited, right? Just as Bismarck's thoughts were racing, there was a knock on the door of her room. For a moment, Bismarck's expression calmed down, and then he turned his head to look in the direction of the door. Please come in. Prince Eugen's figure walked in from the door and closed the door behind him. What's the matter, Eugen? Bismarck asked as he looked at Prince Eugen, who walked through the door. Oh, can I only come to you if I have something to do, Persian Ketchan? Prince Eugen came to Bismarck with a smile, hugged her and smiled. Talking about things, I don't believe you would come to my room if you have nothing to do, Bismarck said lightly, not caring at all about Prince Eugen hugging him. Tusk, in your eyes, it turns out that I have always been like that. Prince Eugen smiled without any sign of anger. Well, it's not really anything, but I came here to take a look at you. What are you doing? Now that we have arrived at the iron-blooded ship, according to the agreement the commander made in the royal palace, it is time to arrange a date for our iron-blooded ship girl. Before, Persian Ketchan got the ring from the commander without saying a word, which really surprised me. But according to your temperament, you generally won't fight for it, right? If the commander doesn't invite you on a date this time after coming to iron-blooded, you won't propose it, right? So, Bismarck said softly when faced with Prince Eugen's question, for me, this ring is already my extravagant wish. As for whether I can get an invitation for a date in the future, it is no longer important. Communicating and negotiating here is what I should do. Haha, it seems that Persian Ketchan still has some expectations. Prince Eugen put down his hand and sat on the sofa nearby. Last time, Frederick the Great had reached an agreement on goals with Iron Blood in the sea. It can be seen from the fact that he directly invited us to their headquarters this time. Don't tell me you can't see it. So this negotiation will not take a few days at all, and can basically be completed in one day. Do you hope to leave Jagged and go to Iris so quickly? Bismarck was stunned. It was because she was not good at expressing feelings, not because she had a problem with logic. After hearing what Prince Eugen said, what did she suddenly discover? So this is your purpose? You want the commander to stay in iron-blooded for a few more days, so that you can use your identity as the iron-blooded ship's wife to take the initiative to ask the commander out, and then get the ring of oath from him, and then deepen the relationship. Haha, I am indeed a Persian Ketchan. You discovered it with just a few words, but I am not the only one. There are many iron-blooded ship girls, which is a benefit to everyone. Prince Eugen faced there was no refutation of Bismarck's words and he directly admitted it. Bismarck nodded, as smart as you are, you should also know that the commander has a general timetable in mind, so he shouldn't be nervous. What's wrong? Could it be that now that he has reached the level of iron-bloodedness, he suddenly feels hesitant in his heart? But logically speaking, Peter and the others should be the ones who are more hesitant, right? Although you haven't been with the commander as long as the Centaurs and others, you can still be regarded as the second batch of ship girls. How could it be? Prince Eugen said with a smile, if I want it, the first ring will be mine, but for the commander who is somewhat emotionally ignorant, glory is indeed a better choice. This time I won't be humble anymore. Bismarck smiled and said, it is indeed very your style. It doesn't matter if you have style or not, but I've noticed that you like to laugh recently, and you do it a lot. It seems that love can indeed change a person, Even Persian Kachan Prince Eugen stretched himself, said somewhat charmingly. Bismarck did not answer, turned around and walked to the wardrobe. It's almost time, go back and change into your dress. Ha, it's true. Prince Eugen smiled, stood up and left Bismarck's room. When the sound of closing the door was heard, Bismarck's movements gradually stopped. She stretched out her hand and stroked her cheek. Do you like to laugh? Is it because he said at that time that all he had to do was smile? On the other side, in Qin Ji's room, Belfast was rarely here, and instead was Frederick the Great. Emperor, why did you think of suddenly coming to my room? Is there something wrong? Qin Ji looked at the sudden visit of Frederick the Great, put the books he had used to kill time on the coffee table aside, and stood up. Speaking of, it's nothing important. I just saw that I have come to Iron Blood now. Are my children going to invite Iron Blood's children out tomorrow? Emperor Frederick came to Qin Ji with a smile and pulled him to sit on the sofa together. Seeing Frederick the Great ask this question, Qin Ji smiled and nodded. That's true. Starting from tomorrow, I'm going to ask Iron-Blooded Ship Girl out. While touring the scenery of Iron-Blooded Ship, I will also fulfill my previous promise. The promise they made. That's good. The Iron-Blooded children have been looking forward to this day for a long time. So who is my child going to ask out first? Prince Eugen or Bismarck? Frederick the Great asked with a smile. Qin Ji looked at the gentle look of Frederick the Great, and suddenly an idea appeared in his mind. Although this time has reached the iron-blooded stage, it should be said that Bismarck should no longer be responsible for this cooperation, but I will definitely leave it to her. Don't worry, so I can only work harder on her, and I will make up for it later. So I was planning to start with Eugen, but now I have changed my mind. If I invite the Emperor out on a date tomorrow, will you agree? Facing Qin Ji's inquiry, Frederick the Great looked as usual, still smiling, and said, no matter what my child decides, I support it. Qin Ji suddenly felt at ease. Then let's say it. I don't know if there are any memories of Tai Shui in the hall. If not, I will go and ask if there is any place with good scenery here tomorrow. Let's go there. Let's go together when the time comes. No, you should know that I am a planning ship, so I have no memory of Iron Blood. In my mind, there are only memories of being with my children, Frederick the Great said with a smile. I see. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 746. The invitation to the evening banquet came as promised. When Qin Ji and a group of ship girls entered the banquet hall at the headquarters, they saw that the senior officials of the iron-blooded camp headed by Bismarck were already waiting. After a brief greeting, Bismarck gestured to Prince Eugen, who then took out an exquisite tray from the ship's installation space, and in the center of the tray was an iron-blooded sword with a golden light. Metal. Bismarck took the tray from Prince Eugen with both hands, and then said to Qin Ji in a solemn tone. Commander Qin Ji, this medal is our iron-blooded Navy Medal of Merit. It is an honor awarded to commanders who have demonstrated outstanding command capabilities and achieved outstanding achievements in combat in the name of iron-blooded. Although you are not our iron-blooded commander, if you had not led your fleet to turn the tide and support each camp during this siren tide, the consequences of this siren tide would have been unimaginable. Therefore, in order to express the gratitude and admiration of our iron-blooded camp to you, we have created this unique iron-blooded Navy Merit Medal for you. I hope it can stay on your chest and become your glory. Facing Bismarck's solemn etiquette, Qin Ji naturally responded solemnly, protecting the safety of the ocean and mankind is the most basic duty of a commander, and it was the same for the previous siren tide. Being able to receive the Navy Medal of Merit issued in the name of the iron-blooded camp is an affirmation of my performance of this duty. It is also my honor, and it is also a spur for me to continue to work hard in future battles. Bismarck nodded and placed the Navy Merit Medal on the tray on Qin Ji's chest. shining brightly with the Royal Cross and the Northern Union Victory Medal. Of course, in addition to these medals, there are also several medals that Qin Ji received in Donghuang before. However, these medals have been reduced to foils. After all, the medals of these three camps are too dazzling. After the awarding ceremony, the serious atmosphere gradually became lively. Qin Ji looked at the three medals on his chest and couldn't help but smile at Bismarck and said, "So this is what your camps have discussed together. Every time a camp attends a banquet, they always do this." Bismarck smiled, "Absolutely. After all, except for this, our camps really can't give you corresponding honors. The key is that your performance in the Siren Tide this time can no longer be said to have turned the tide. To be sure, it should have saved the world. As Elaine has no corresponding honor for you, so it can only set up a special medal based on the highest honor of each major camp. I hope you don't mind." Qin Ji shook his head. "Why would you mind? As a soldier, a medal of merit is an affirmation of his strength and experience. Who doesn't want to have as many meritorious deeds as possible, and I am no exception." "That's good." Bismarck smiled. "Tonight is a banquet specially held for you, so the rest of the time will be left to you. After all, you are the protagonists." "So you want to leave?" Qin Ji asked. "Of course not. The iron blood of your fleet interests me very much, so I plan to communicate with them," Bismarck said with a smile. "Okay." Qin Ji nodded. He had no doubts about Bismarck's words from the iron-blooded camp. The same camp would definitely have a little bit of curiosity about the ship girls of the same camp, especially if the overall strength was stronger than his own. Down. Compared with the iron-blooded camp, Qin Ji's fleet includes shipmates like Peter Strasser and Prince Heinrich, who are not iron-blooded, as well as decisive battle plan type planned ships like Frederick the Great. This can indeed arouse iron-blooded curiosity. So Qin Ji said goodbye to Bismarck for a while and came to Cleveland. Seeing that Cleveland, who was previously free and easy, suddenly became arrogant and blushed, Qin Ji couldn't help but laugh. "Ha, it's finally your turn today, but why has it become like this? Where has the cool and confident Cleveland before gone?" Hearing what Qin Ji said, Cleveland said shyly, "I am also a girl, and I have never danced before, so this is my first time, so of course I will feel shy." "Huh? Didn't I see you and Helena dancing together before? And your sisters, why do you say they haven't danced now?" Qin Ji asked with some confusion. "Oh, Commander. Before, dancing was introduced from a boy's perspective. This is the first time for me to accept dancing as a girl, so I feel shy," Cleveland said hurriedly. "Haha, as a girl, can you dance?" Qin Ji asked with a smile. "Of course, I know a little bit, but I still need the commander to guide me," Cleveland whispered. "So, Miss Cleveland, are you ready to dance with me?" Qin Ji bowed gracefully and extended his palm to Cleveland. "Certainly." In shyness, Cleveland gently placed his hand on Qin Ji's big hand, letting Qin Ji hold it tightly, and then slowly walked to the dance floor in the banquet hall. Seeing their eldest sister being brought onto the dance floor by Qin Ji, several Cleveland-level girls not far away could not help but burst into tears. "Eldest sister looks so handsome." Idiot, the eldest sister was obviously invited by the commander as a girl, so she should be said to be very beautiful. "But I still think the eldest sister is very handsome. It's just that she looks a little cute when she's next to the commander, but she's still very handsome." Such a scene made St. Louis on the side couldn't help but laugh. "Haha, suddenly it feels like Cleveland is not having an easy day. She should have been a lively and helpful girl in everyone's eyes, but because of her careless personality, she has now become this way. There are really both gains and losses." Helena, who was following St. Louis, couldn't help but said, "I think Cleveland is very powerful and feels very safe. And she usually helps me a lot if possible. Commander, I hope you can give her a ring." "Haha, silly girl, you haven't found your own ring yet, so you are worried about others. St. Louis smiled, but then again, you also have the capital. I can see that the commander likes you very much. Your ring must not escape. Hearing what St. Louis said, Helena's cheeks instantly turned crimson. Sister Louis, you bullied me again. Silly girl, this is not bullying. My sister is very envious of you. St. Louis looked at the shy Helena and said meaningfully. Sister Louis. Helena looked confused, but couldn't get an answer. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Hwangming Muji. Chapter 747. Facing the mirror, Qin Ji arranged his clothes under Belfast's service. Today is a suitable day for the iron-blooded ship girl to start dating, and the first day is also the date with Frederick the Great, which makes Qin Ji feel a little more excited. Frederick the Great has always been an elder figure in Qin Ji's mind. Ever since she joined the fleet, he has been presiding over the reform of the fleet. After the fleet reform was completed, he did not seek to obtain more rights. Instead, he chose to retreat bravely and silently supported Qin Ji behind him. The idea last night was just a whim. Frederick the Great had always been very tolerant in front of Qin Ji, so Qin Ji just wanted to give it a try, but he didn't expect to get unexpected gains. But what is this deep sense of betrayal? Thinking of this, Qin Ji quickly shook his head and drove out these random thoughts in his head. Huh? Master, do you think the outfit I dressed for you is inappropriate? Belfast asked strangely as he looked at Qin Ji and shook his head. Qin Ji quickly waved his hand. No, Bifa, the clothes you prepared fit very well and are very comfortable. It's just that I was thinking about something, so I shook my head. It's not the problem with the clothes. Belfast smiled. Master, are you thinking about today's date? I don't know if you have chosen the person you want. Is it Miss Prince Eugen or Miss Bismarck? Oh, by the way, Miss Bismarck is responsible for matters related to iron-blooded cooperation. I'm afraid she doesn't have time, so there is a high chance that she will be Miss Prince Eugen or Miss Peter Strasser, right? Listening to Belfast's inquiry, Qin Ji winked at her and said, it seems that this time, Belfast understands my thoughts best, and you didn't guess it either. Belfast hesitated for a moment, and then asked with a bit of disbelief, is it Miss Frederick? Qin Ji nodded. Bingo, that's the right answer. Haha, Master really chose the highest difficulty level from the beginning. It's really surprising, but Miss Frederick is indeed a very good choice. I hope Master's date today can be successful, Belfast said with a smile. Qin Ji nodded, looked at himself in the mirror and said, I can't guarantee it. All in all, just try your best. By the way, I saw you chatting with Tai Shui's attendants yesterday. Did you find out what fun Tai Shui has here? Where's the place? Although Qin Ji didn't know what Belfast was talking about with the iron-blooded attendant yesterday, he felt that as long as he asked, Belfast would definitely answer him, because she was the one who understood his thoughts best. Sure enough, Belfast quickly told Qin Ji about the fun places here, or places that are more suitable for dates. However, most of you know me well, but I don't know much about what you like. Bifa, what do you think Frederick the Great would like? Qin Ji asked. Miss Frederick's favorite thing is probably her master. I think she will be very happy no matter where he takes her on a date. By the way, I remembered that Frederick the Great often held a conductor's baton, and when he passed by her room, he could always hear classical music coming from it, so the owner might as well take her to the theater. Maybe is it suitable there? Belfast said after thinking for a while. Classical music? If you hold the baton, it would be symphony. Qin Ji nodded. I understand, then let's go to the musical theater, which is quite close to here. After the goal was determined, Qin Ji said goodbye to Belfast and came to Frederick the Great's door, knocking gently on the door. Soon the door opened, and what appeared in front of Qin Ji was Frederick the Great, who had already changed his clothes. Different from her usual ship attire, she is now wearing a ladylike dress. She looks very dignified and mature, making people unable to help but think about her. Era, is my child ready? It just so happens that I am ready now, so let's go together. I don't know where today's itinerary is, Frederick the Great said with a smile. Qin Ji looked at Emperor Frederick the Great in front of him and said, "Please allow me to let you know for a moment." "Then you will know, Emperor." "Haha, then just listen to my child." Emperor Frederick looked at Qin Ji with a doting look on his face. As the two left the hotel and walked on the road at the door, Prince Eugen's figure appeared at the window of his room, looking at Qin Ji and Frederick the Great below. "Haha, it's interesting. This is called competition. I thought all hard-blooded people were just stupid." Prince Eugen bit his finger and muttered to himself, then turned around with a smile and disappeared from the window. Qin Ji didn't know anything about this situation. At this time, he was walking side by side with Frederick the Great, having an ideological struggle. It cannot be said that Frederick the Great was very sharp. It can only be said that Frederick the Great had always focused all his attention on Qin Ji, so he immediately noticed Qin Ji's ecstatic movements. "My child, what are you thinking about? Can you tell me? If you have something upset, please let me solve it for you." Facing Emperor Frederick's question, Qin Ji hesitated for a moment and then said, "Actually, I was thinking about holding your hand just now. Because I was out on a date, I felt like holding hands while walking on the road. This way it seems more intimate." "So that's it," Frederick the Great said with a smile, then stretched out his hand and took Qin Ji's hand. "My child, don't hesitate to treat me. If you have anything to say to me, just tell me directly. Okay, no matter what it is, I am willing to do it for my children, and no matter what it is, I will tolerate my children." Okay, Qin Ji couldn't help but smile. He felt that he could always take the initiative in front of other ship girls, but when it was Frederick the Great's turn, he could only passively accept it. Why is this? Could it be because of the aura of Frederick the Great? Or did he say that he had mistaken the identity of Frederick the Great? Thinking of this, Qin Ji turned his head and looked at Frederick the Great, who was smiling and looking at him with a very doting look on his face. "This is exactly the way you look at a child, right?" Qin Ji couldn't help but complain in his heart. "No, today is a date for two people, not for parents to take their children out to play. The initiative must be regained. Frederick the Great was just a woman." Qin Ji nodded firmly, a warm smile slowly appeared on his face, and began to chat with Frederick the Great next to him. "When did the Emperor prepare the set of dresses? Why have I never seen it before? This one? Haha, I picked it out when I was shopping with the children before. What do you think, my child? Well, you have always been very stable. Now wearing this dark skirt, you feel very mature and like a lady. If you go out like this and just look at the appearance, I am afraid no one will believe that we are the commander and the ship's commander. Mother. So what's it like? Couple. My ship girl, my world." Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 748. Standing outside a relatively majestic theater, Qin Ji smiled and said to Frederick the Great, "This is it. Theater, haha, it seems that my child has discovered the beauty of the symphony. Are you ready to start listening carefully?" Frederick the Great did not look surprised at all, but focused on Qin Ji as usual. Brother Qin felt that even if he didn't take her here, or go to any other place, he would still have this tone. "Don't you feel any surprise?" Qin Ji said helplessly. Frederick the Great smiled. "Perhaps in other camps, if you took me to the symphony orchestra theater, I might still be surprised, but here is iron-blooded. My child, do you know what the essence of iron blood is? Qin Ji thought for a moment, be serious and responsible for things, and show no mercy to the enemy, right? Frederick the Great smiled and shook his head. It seems that my child does not understand the true nature of iron blood, or perhaps Bismarck and the surrounding evaluations have had too profound an impact on you. Qin Ji was speechless. Then can the emperor tell me what the essence of iron blood is? Although I can easily tell you the answer, you have to experience it yourself to understand it. And today you brought me here. This is a very good opportunity. Let's go to a symphony concert together. You probably know what iron-blooded is, Frederick the Great said. With a trace of doubt and a search for the essence of iron blood, Qin Ji entered the theater with Emperor Frederick. Because Belfast specifically told him the performance time before, he just happened to catch it when he came over. As the symphony began, notes began to beat in every corner of the concert hall, and Qin Ji and Frederick the Great slowly fell into silence. In the world of music, time seems to have no concept. When Qin Ji came back to his senses, the symphony performance had ended, and he remembered the deafening applause around him. He glanced at Frederick the Great, who was sitting next to him, and saw that she also clapped slowly and nodded approvingly. Perhaps feeling Qin Ji's gaze, Frederick the Great turned his head and smiled. How do you feel? An unforgettable symphony concert. Iron Blood's music truly deserves its reputation, Qin Ji responded with a smile. Haha, then my child, what is the essence of iron blood in your feeling now? Frederick the Great asked with a smile. What is the essence of iron blood? Qin Ji had given the answer before, but it did not meet Frederick the Great's expectations. Now, after watching the symphony concert, Qin Ji felt that he had a new understanding. With a flash of inspiration, he suddenly remembered the book that his mentor had recommended to them when they were studying the classic battles of Germany's two world wars in his own world. Iron Blood and Musical Notes. Bismarck, Germany's famous iron-blooded prime minister, once said, "Music can evoke two completely different desires in my heart, one is war, and the other is idyllic tranquility." When talking about Germany, people always perfectly integrate the two completely different fields of war and music, as if this is the essence of Germany. Just as the Iron Prime Minister Bismarck was attacking Austria, Beethoven's Fifth Symphony was played in his home. War and music, order and romance, perhaps this is the nature engraved in the hearts of Germans. Because they lack self-confidence, they work hard, strictly observe discipline, and want more power. It is precisely because of this lack of self-confidence and desire to be respected that they conquer neighboring countries that are wealthier than themselves, are keen to establish superior subordinate and master-servant class relationships, and teach their youth to be brave and fearless, and to regard obedience as a virtue and vocational duty. And it is precisely because of this lack of self-confidence that they care very much about what others think of them. Let yourself be as perfect as possible in the eyes of others. This contradiction is most vividly reflected in art. In Beethoven's music, the slow adagio and the triumphal march always follow each other in harmony. Even Wagner, whose musical style is not so sincere, shows a dangerous fusion of these two elements in his works and his life. Thinking of this, Qin Ji seemed to understand a little bit when he saw the inadvertent movements of the various iron-blooded people as the crowd dispersed. Order and romance, reason and madness, are always on a journey of constant exploration. I want to rely on iron blood to find a place without iron blood, Qin Ji said with a smile. It feels a bit contradictory. Haha, you are indeed my child. Frederick the Great's eyes flashed with joy. Hearing Qin Ji's answer seemed to make her feel even more happy than the state. The existence of iron-blooded is inherently contradictory, turning love and envy into the inner desire to conquer and the desire to destroy. This is her essence, and it is also the essence of all iron-blooded senior executives. As Frederick the Great spoke, the two walked out of the theater and walked aimlessly along the side road. Today's date feels more like the teachings you gave me, The Emperor. I had already prepared it when we were in the hotel, but I still didn't expect it to turn out like this, Qin Ji said with a wry smile. You are my child. It is naturally my wish to make you more perfect. After all, I am also an iron-blooded ship girl. Order and romance, reason and madness also exist in me, Fet Emperor Lai said with a smile. Qin Ji shook his head, but my feeling about you, Emperor, is that you are more sensible, just like now. That's because I hid my madness, my child. So you can act like a baby to me as much as you like, more. A strange feeling came from Frederick the Great appears, and this feeling is exactly a kind of greed and desire. Qin Ji understood for a moment that perhaps this was the complete Frederick the Great, who had extraordinary rationality, but also had enough desire. Before asking Qin Ji to explore the essence of iron blood, it would be better to say that he was exploring her own essence. Sure enough, in front of you, I always look like a child. Qin Ji couldn't help but smile and took out the oath ring he had prepared. Actually, it's not just you, the Emperor, I also have desires. I hope you can be happier, I hope you can accept this ring, I hope you can be my wedding ship, and I hope you can accompany me throughout my life. Although now is not the best time, I hope you can promise me. Looking at the oath ring in front of him, Frederick the Great did not catch it immediately, but directly hugged Qin Ji in his arms. Ah, it unfolds like a dream, then let's continue this wonderful movement forever, my child. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 749. After such an incident, Qin Ji could suddenly understand Frederick the Great. For Frederick the Great, she had already regarded Qin Ji as her goal, so power or anything else had no appeal to her, and regardless of madness or reason, it was all about the goal. Looking at the oath ring that Qin Ji put on his finger, Frederick the Great smiled and said, from now on, no matter what happens, whether it is sadness, joy, pain, or joy, I will rely on you. Me. I will always understand you, tolerate you, and support you. This was the oath of the oath, and it was also the agreement between Frederick the Great and Qin Ji, or in other words, her request and desire for Qin Ji. Faced with this, Qin Ji smiled and said, of course, not only from today, but from the first time I summoned you, we have been tied together, right? But starting from today, we finally become one. Your heart and my heart are connected to each other. This is not just a vow, it is also a fact. So don't find me annoying in the future, great Emperor. Haha. Frederick the Great hugged Qin Ji tightly and said with a happy and doting voice, I will accept everything about you and eliminate everything in front of you, so my child, enjoy your life as much as you want. Be coquettish to me, more. Feeling the softness that clung to her body, Qin Ji suddenly felt that there was no need to worry about Frederick the Great before. In the future, the way to like her was to go to her more, trouble her more, and ask her to help her more. Just yourself, that's all. After thinking about this clearly, the next date will be much simpler and more heartwarming. For example, two people went to a coffee shop together, ordered 2 desserts, and both fed each other and finished them. Another example is when we go to dinner together, we feed each other. Such a scene makes Qin Ji feel warm, and it can satisfy Frederick the Great's desire, so why not do it? It wasn't until the sun gradually set and the sky became dark that the two returned to Tai Shui's hotel together. After sending Frederick the Great to his room, Qin Ji said goodbye and returned to his room. But he found that there was already a figure waiting for him here, and this person was Prince Eugen. Qin Ji was embarrassed for a while. Logically speaking, he should have taken Prince Eugen out today. Who knew that he was cut off by Frederick the Great last night? So now that he sees Prince Eugen here, he is really a little embarrassed. Eugen, you are here. I want to come back and find you after changing my clothes, Qin Ji said tentatively. Haha, Prince Eugen smiled and bit his finger, then stood up from the sofa, came to Qin Ji, and put his hand on Qin Ji's chest. Commander, am I so embarrassed? What am I? Didn't even say anything. Qin Ji was speechless and could only tell the truth. I'm sorry. I was supposed to take you out today according to the order. It's all my fault. I apologize to you here. Maybe I will ask you out tomorrow. It turns out that the commander still remembers it. I thought that the noble commander was so forgetful that he had already forgotten about me. Prince Eugen chuckled after finishing speaking. Ha, I see you are so scared. You go out early and go out late. Am I still anxious for such a day? Seeing Prince Eugen's reaction, Qin Ji couldn't help but feel relieved. Don't worry, I have already arranged tomorrow's itinerary, and I will definitely have a good day with you then. By the way, you came to my room to wait for me, wasn't it just because of this matter? Oh, isn't this enough for me to come to your room and wait for you? Prince Eugen smiled. Indeed. Qin Ji touched his nose, but I think you must have other things, otherwise you would have guessed that I would go to your place to apologize at night. Prince Eugen smiled and said, it seems that the commander understands me quite well. Yes, apart from this matter, I do have other things to do when I come to you. What's going on? Qin Ji asked confused. The way the commander and Emperor Frederick have returned, I guess you have already given her the ring, right? Prince Eugen asked. Qin Ji nodded, yes, I gave the ring to Frederick the Great when I went out today. Then does the commander know what kind of character Frederick the Great was? Prince Eugen asked. Qin Ji nodded, reason and madness, set the goal as one of mine. Prince Eugen looked at Qin Ji in surprise, oh? Did the commander see this himself? Qin Ji shook his head and told Prince Eugen what happened today. Prince Eugen couldn't help but smile after hearing this, haha, it was unintentional. Frederick the Great was right, and the commander also understood it right. The iron-blooded ship girl has a rational and crazy side in her heart, but they are just disguised. Just like Bismarck, her rational side is stronger than her crazy side, and like Zeppelin, her madness obviously suppresses her reason. Therefore, it is this group of people that forms the iron blood of unity. This is also the reason why iron blood can recover from this siren tide so quickly. Qin Ji nodded, I understand. Now that the commander has understood, you should have some sense of yourself, and I don't need to say too much. But there is one more thing. I must tell you that the real iron-blooded leader in the fleet is actually no longer Bismarck. But you, the commander. Our dreams and our future are all in your hands. No matter how difficult the future is, no matter how many separations there are in the future, we will always be by your side, no matter sanity or madness. Prince Eugen looked into Qin Ji's eyes and said seriously. I see. Qin Ji naturally understood what Prince Eugen meant. Although Qin Ji attached great importance to iron blood in the fleet before, he usually spent less time with iron blood ship girls, especially since there were many ship girls with very bad personalities in iron blood. Regardless of Emperor Frederick the Great or Prince Eugen, they all hope that Qin Ji can accept everything iron blood has to offer, whether it is rationality or madness. Seeing Qin Ji's seriousness, Prince Eugen smiled and said, then I hope the commander can stay in iron blood for a few more days. Our subsequent itinerary is not as tight as expected. Is this selfish? Qin Ji asked with a smile. Maybe, as compensation, why don't we go to my room to drink together? Prince Eugen blinked and smiled. Qin Ji quickly waved his hand, we won't do it tonight. I have to prepare for a date with you tomorrow. Otherwise, come back tomorrow night and go to your room to drink together. We won't come back until we're drunk. Haha, actually you don't have to go back even if you are drunk. My bed is big and can sleep two people, Prince Eugen said charmingly. Well, let's see then. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Hwangming Muji. Chapter 750. It can be said that Qin Ji is looking forward to the date with Prince Yujin. Because Prince Yujin has been following him for a long time, and he has always been a wise advisor in the fleet. Although he rarely expresses himself, he likes to tease Qin Ji very much when in front of Qin Ji. It seems that seeing Qin Ji in embarrassment is the greatest happiness in the world. Is this character actually the same as that of Frederick the Great? They are also very rational people, and the targets they choose to release their desires are their own commanders. The difference from Frederick the Great is that the way Frederick expressed his desire was doting, surrounding Qin Ji with love like an endless tide, making you remember her deeply. Prince Yujin mainly teases, and through words and actions, he makes Qin Ji unable to get up or down. This feeling of control will make Prince Yujin very immersed, and will also make Qin Ji remember it deeply. There was nothing to say all night, and early the next morning, Qin Ji packed up his clothes under Dido's service. After rubbing Dido's head as a reward, she left Dido with a silly smile on her face and headed outside the door of Prince Yujin's room. After knocking lightly, I heard Prince Yujin's lazy voice coming from inside the door, "Commander? The door is unlocked, just come in." Qin Ji was stunned for a moment, then opened the door and walked in, only to find Prince Yujin lying on the sofa in his pajamas, with several wine bottles beside him. "Did you drink last night? And you stayed here all night?" Qin Ji said with a frown as he approached. "Yes, I invited you last night, but you didn't come, so I had to drink it by myself," Prince Yujin said lazily, "but I didn't expect the commander to come so early this morning. I was so looking forward to it." "A date with mine?" "Yes, it was precisely because of expectation that I temporarily declined your invitation last night," Qin Ji said helplessly. "Who knew you started drinking on your own, and even drank like this? Can you go today? It's just a little bit of wine, so there's no problem." Prince Yujin smiled charmingly, "but it would be great if Commander could help me." "Help you?" Qin Ji asked doubtfully. "Help me get dressed. We can go on a date after that. Do you want me to go out with you dressed like this?" "If so, I won't mind," Prince Yujin said with a smile. Qin Ji curled his lips. Although Prince Yujin's pajamas were very comfortable to wear, they were also very bold. The silk pajamas made the skin looming, with only a few key parts thickened, and the rest of it was teasing Qin Ji's nerves every moment. If it hadn't been for the baptism of glory and Belfast, Qin Ji would probably be blushing at this moment. For Prince Yujin to go out wearing pajamas like this, it would be unless Qin Ji was mentally ill. "You can just see the scenery by yourself, Qin Ji is not a devotee." "I've been talking nonsense all day long," Qin Ji said as he leaned down and picked up Prince Yujin on the sofa. Prince Yujin, who was picked up by Qin Ji, was not at all honest in Qin Ji's arms. He held Qin Ji's neck with one hand and touched his arms and chest with his right hand. "Haha, Commander is quite strong, and the muscles in his arms are very powerful. Don't touch it randomly, or if you feel itchy later, I'll throw you down carefully," Qin Ji said helplessly. "Then you know how to throw," Prince Yujin said with a smile. Qin Ji was helpless. "No way. He. Should we take a shower first or change clothes first?" Qin Ji asked Prince Yujin. "Well, if the commander helps me wash it, then I will take a shower first." Prince Yujin thought for a while, then smiled. Qin Ji rolled his eyes and said, "Forget it, I still have to wash when I get back tonight, so let's just change clothes." In fact, the moment he picked up Prince Yujin, Qin Ji felt something strange. That is, if Prince Yujin is really drunk and lies on the sofa all night, he will definitely smell of alcohol when he wakes up the next day. However, Prince Yujin did not smell of alcohol at all. Instead, there was a refreshing fragrance after bathing. Therefore, Qin Ji concluded that all this was done by Prince Yujin to amuse him. However, Qin Ji did not expose it. After all, today was Prince Yujin's day, or for her, the date had already started from this moment. He held Prince Yujin and put her on the bed, letting her sit there. Then Qin Ji opened Prince Yujin's cabinet and helped her find the clothes she mentioned. Of course, during the search, Qin Ji also saw a lot of things that made people blush and heartbeat. Originally this was a very embarrassing thing, but when Qin Ji thought about it, he was going to give Prince Yujin a ring today. From now on, she would be his wife. Isn't it normal to see these things from his wife? So her mood didn't fluctuate much, and she quickly found her clothes for Prince Yujin. Now, it's here. You put it on yourself. I'll go out first. Qin Ji put the clothes next to Prince Yujin and said. No, didn't the commander just promise to help me change my clothes? Why did you just find the clothes and run away now? Prince Yujin said, holding Qin Ji's hand. Well, even though I said that, I can't help but change your clothes, you know. Qin Ji didn't say it clearly. Hee, you weren't shy just now, are you shy now? Then when those royal maids change your clothes, are you shy? Prince Yujin teased. Qin Ji was speechless, it was all about himself again. I was really shy at first, but I got used to it later, so it doesn't matter anymore, Qin Ji explained. Then help me change my clothes. Anyway, this is only a few times of shyness. You will get used to it in the future. Just treat these as beautiful memories between us. And I'm a girl and I'm not shy. Why are you shy, Commander? Prince Yujin smiled. Yes, Qin Ji nodded. According to Prince Yujin's character, she will be no less clingy than others in the future, so things like this will definitely happen many times. As she said, even if you are not used to it or are a little shy now, it will become a habit in the future. So under Prince Yujin's smile, Qin Ji helped her change her clothes with some helplessness and excitement. Of course, there is no shortage of beautiful scenery and plenty of tofu to eat. True value, this was Qin Ji's thought after helping Prince Yujin change his clothes. Haha, let's go, Commander, what else do you want? Prince Yujin arranged his clothes and said to Qin Ji, who was still in trance, when I come back in the evening, I will ask you to help me undress. Okay. Ahem. Qin Ji coughed, let's go. Hee. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 751. The date with Prince Yujin went smoothly, even so smoothly that Qin Ji felt suspicious. After all, Prince Yujin's behavior in the morning made Qin Ji feel frustrated, although Qin Ji wanted to do this kind of thing more times. But if it counts, then what Prince Yujin did was beyond Brother Qin's expectation, so Qin Ji was also a little worried about the next date, worried that Prince Yujin would not play according to the routine. As a result, Prince Yujin behaved very normally, whether he was going to the cafe or the amusement park, or even when he was having dinner at the end. This made Qin Ji feel as if the person facing him was not Prince Yujin, but rather Guanghui or Belfast. Haha, what are you thinking about, Commander? I feel like you don't even have the heart to eat. Prince Yujin smiled and said to Qin Ji, iron-blooded ham is very civilized among these camps. Although the ham is not expensive, it is surprisingly authentic, so you have to taste it. Qin Ji nodded quickly, well, it's true. It's delicious, and when combined with the black beer from Thai blood, it tastes like iron blood. I feel like you're a little absent-minded. Are dating me so boring? Prince Yujin smiled. Qin Ji coughed and said, that's not true. It's just that you impressed me today. Our date went so smoothly that I can't believe it. Haha, Commander, what do you think will happen if you date me? Prince Yujin was not angry, but asked with a smile. It was full of embarrassment from the beginning to the end, being teased by you constantly. Qin Ji rolled his eyes and said. So I didn't do this to you today, but you're not used to it, Prince Eugen smiled. Ahem, no, I just feel that you are so quiet and submissive today. Qin Ji shook his head and said. Why, Prince Eugen smiled and looked directly at Qin Ji, because today is a date with the commander. For everyone, it is a day that is cherished. We want the other person to be able to keep this memory. So even I hope that when commander thinks of today, he will not be filled with embarrassment, but be filled with warmth. Qin Ji was stunned for a moment, looking at Prince Eugen's affectionate look, he couldn't help but be moved. How is it? Are you very touched by saying this to the commander? Prince Eugen asked. Somewhat. Qin Ji touched his nose. Haha, I'm kidding you. I just want to keep it like this from the beginning to the end of the date today, so that the commander will be surprised. This is my purpose. Prince Eugen chuckled and said to Qin Ji. Hearing what Prince Eugen said, Qin Ji's face darkened. I wish you hadn't said this just now. Prince Eugen smiled and said, Commander can try to guess which sentence is a joke. Qin Ji curled his lips and said, well, I suddenly feel that I am doing this entirely on my own. If I didn't say so many words, there wouldn't be so many things. Haha, then what are you going to do after dinner? Prince Eugen smiled. Didn't the commander say that he had already planned it yesterday? Qin Ji looked at the sky outside and said, it gets dark earlier now. Let's buy some wine outside after dinner and then go home. Didn't you say we'll drink in your room tonight? Okay, actually there is quite a lot of wine in my room, but there is less iron-blooded beer. If the commander likes it, you can bring some beer back, Prince Eugen said. Okay, let's go buy some beer later. We'll drink beer tonight. Qin Ji nodded. After the two of them finished eating, they walked towards the wine shop. Prince Eugen became lively again on the road, which made Brother Qin feel as if the Prince Eugen he dated before was fake. But to be honest, I feel that you are in a much better mood recently than before. I still remember when you first came to the fleet, you would have a gloomy face all day long, or just have a fake smile on your face, and you felt very unhappy. Qin Ji said to Prince Eugen said. Haha, then who do you think I changed because of? I am really stupid. My Lord Commander, I am no longer the me who felt empty about everything at the beginning, Prince Eugen said with a smile. So, you look good when you smile like this, and it's the easiest for others to accept, but it would be better if you tease me less, Qin Ji said with a smile. Ha ha ha, this is impossible. Although it's a lot of fun to be with you, this is what I like the most. Even if you are the commander, you can't change it, Prince Eugen smiled. Then what about using this? Can I? Qin Ji took out a small box from his pocket and placed it in front of Prince Eugen. Prince Eugen was as smart as he could see what was inside when he saw the box. I can only say that it can be discussed. Prince Eugen took the box and said to Qin Ji with a smile. How can we discuss this? Qin Ji asked. You beat me in drinking tonight, and everything will be easy to talk about in the future, Prince Eugen provocatively said. That's a deal. The ring has been given out. For Qin Ji, today's date project has been completed, but for Prince Eugen, today's project has just begun. With a few barrels of beer, Qin Ji and Prince Eugen returned to the hotel room together. Then the two of them got into a position on the sofa and started clinking glasses and chatting while drinking. You lose, Commander, have a drink or two, choose one. Prince Eugen pointed at the roulette wheel on the table and smiled at Qin Ji. I choose two people to drink together, Qin Ji said, pointing to the third rule. Well, even though we are drinking together, I only want one drink of Commander, but I have to drink 3 drinks, Prince Eugen said with a smile. It doesn't matter, as long as you drink, Qin Ji said with a smile. It seems that Commander really spared no effort to get me drunk, but I don't get drunk that easily. According to Commander's drinking method, you might get drunk first, Prince Eugen said with a smile. You said last night that your bed can sleep 2 people, didn't you? Since I came here tonight, I planned not to get drunk and never come back. Why are you scared now? Qin Ji said with a smile. What my commander said made me drunk even more. He. Prince Eugen raised his glass and clinked it with Qin Ji. Commander, you can drink slowly, don't be anxious, the night has just begun. Qin Ji rolled his eyes. Although his drinking capacity was not ranked high in the port area, Prince Eugen's drinking capacity was much worse than him. As long as he drank like a desperate man, Eugen would be the one who drank first. Prince Root. At that time, I must let you understand what it means to be unable to touch a tiger's butt. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 752. Qin Ji didn't know how long he and Prince Eugen had been drinking, but it could be seen from the mess around them that they had been drinking for a long time. He looked up at the clock hanging on the wall and found that it was already past 11 o'clock at night. Turning his head and looking at Prince Eugen, who was lying on the sofa, Qin Ji touched his dizzy head and smiled. Even if I sacrifice my life to accompany the gentleman, it seems that I still win in the end. After finishing speaking, Qin Ji leaned over and pushed Prince Eugen. Eugene, wake up, sleep on the sofa. It's too cold at night. I'll put you on the bed. Maybe Prince Eugen drank too much, and Qin Ji's shaking didn't work. So Qin Ji had to take out his fingers and pinch Prince Eugen's face. Prince Eugen opened his eyes in pain and saw Qin Ji in front of him. What? It turns out to be the commander. I'm not drunk, but what does this gesture mean? Prince Eugen then chuckled and said, could it be that the commander wants to do something to me while I'm drunk? Yes, although we haven't performed the ceremony yet, with this ring, you will never be able to escape. Watching Prince Eugen raise his left hand and look at the oath ring, Qin Ji was speechless for a while. You are already drunk and just slept on this sofa. Tai Shui is getting colder at night now. I am afraid that you will catch a cold, so I am going to wake you up and carry you to the bed. So it's like this. I thought, Commander, you would really become mature. What do you want to do to me? Prince Eugen smiled. Qin Ji curled his lips and said, if I really do something to you, will you refuse? No, and I have learned a lot of moves in private. If Commander wants to learn it, I will teach you seriously. Prince Eugen licked his lips and said in a seductive voice. Forget it, although you have learned a lot of moves, you are still a theoretical person. Although I know fewer moves, I am a practical person, Qin Ji complained. Commander, please help me to fully practice these theories, so that I will become a practical person in the future, and the commander will become a practical person with rich theoretical knowledge. Prince Eugen sat up and lay down, said to Qin Ji. Ahem, suddenly it feels like what you said makes sense. Qin Ji thought for a moment. How about we give it a try? Okay, so where to start? Prince Eugen smiled. Didn't you say you know a lot of theories? Are you asking me now? Qin Ji was speechless. I just want to ask, Commander, how did you start working with Guanghui? Prince Eugen asked. Let's just start with hugs and kisses. Who would get into the theme right from the start? Qin Ji blushed. Then let's start with these 2 things, Prince Eugen said with great interest. Qin Ji looked at Prince Eugen funny. So you know that many of your theories are lying to me, right? Where? Prince Eugen said with a smile. I'm afraid I'm too direct and the commander won't be able to bear it later. Hey, I don't believe it. Qin Ji suddenly became energetic. Believe it or not, then I'll take action. Prince Eugen smiled and threw himself on Qin Ji, and then the 2 hugged each other tightly. As bright light once again shined through the curtains into the room, Qin Ji looked at Prince Eugen in his arms and couldn't help but said speechlessly, you really want to save face? Who did you learn this from? Atago. Prince Eugen sold Atago without hesitation. Ahem, it seems that you have only learned the superficial knowledge and not even the essence. Shinji couldn't help but cough. Atago knew that if there was anyone in Minato who was the filthiest, it would be the one who loves big dogs. Shinji had learned a lot when Atago was working as a secretary ship for Shinji. The ever-present temptation and the three dirty jokes made Shinji a little curious as to why everyone else in the Kaohsiung class was so serious, but there was an outlier like Ai Daegu. The key is, she is really easy to understand. If Shinji was asked to find the most loving ship girl among the ship girls in the port area, Shinji really didn't know which one to choose. But if Shinji were to find the best partner among the ship girls in the port area, then it would definitely be Atago. It's a pity that Atago went back with Chongying's ship girl this time, otherwise Shinji would definitely have given her the ring this time. But there is still time after I return, and I can reissue it to Chongying's people at that time. Hearing what Shinji said, Prince Yujin chuckled and said, so the commander seems to understand the essence of Atago. Shinji quickly shook his head. You know that I used to know nothing about emotions, so I always shrank when facing Atago. I was teased so badly by her. Ha 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 ha. Prince Yujin smiled, then Commander, besides Atago and me, who else are you shrinking in front of? If you really want to say that, St. Louis is definitely one, Frederick the Great is one, Akagakaga is two, and there are some others that I can't think of at the moment. In short, I feel that I am not good at dealing with some strong ship girls. Shinji said. Haha, I understand. My commander likes a gentle, virtuous, and considerate ship girl like Guanghui the most, right? Prince Yujin smiled. Ahem, that's pretty much it. Shinji nodded and said with some nostalgia, just like some people like youthful and energetic people, some people like clingy people, some people like queens, and I prefer the gentle and considerate ones. There is a feeling of being cared for, which may be related to my family since I was a child. I always hope that people will care about me. Then I will pay more attention to you, Commander, to save you a pitiful day. By the way, in Iron-Blooded, people also use animal names to call their lovers, Little Bear or Little Rabbit. You want me to call you Little Bear or is it a Little Rabbit, Commander? Prince Yujin smiled. Little Bear, Little Rabbit, Shinji's eyes widened. Well, it's a bit embarrassing to call like that. Anyway, we are talking in private, just like now, can anyone hear it? Prince Yujin smiled. Commander, you can also call me, there is no need to call me Prince Yujin so formally. Shinji nodded, it seems to feel pretty good, then you call me Little Bear and I call you Little Rabbit. Prince Yujin said amusedly, I thought you wanted me to call you Little Rabbit. After all, the previous commander was indeed like Little Rabbit. Shinji pinched Prince Yujin's back shell and said, the little rabbit has turned over to be the master now, so it has become a little bear, and the little bear is now under my body, so it has become a little rabbit. Isn't this okay? Clear. Oh, it's not certain who will suppress whom. Hey, who begged for mercy last night? You won't admit it this night? It seems that you still need to educate yourself. Come here, the little bear will be the one who fights to the end. War. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Hwangming Muji. Chapter 753. When Shinji returned to his room again, it was already 3 o'clock in the morning. He and Prince Yujin had a dark fight in the room, and finally he surrendered to the stubborn Prince Yujin and asked her to call herself a little rabbit. Shinji was satisfied. But I don't know if this was Prince Yujin's plan. Anyway, when Shinji left, Prince Yujin kept chuckling and looking satisfied. However, Shinji thought that he did not suffer any loss, so everyone was happy for a while. Back in the room, no one was here. However, there were obvious wrinkles on the sofa and bed. It was obvious that more than one person had been in the house, and it was still in the morning. Because every morning, regardless of whether Chin-Ji comes or not, the maid team will come to clean. If they only came yesterday and last night, there should be no wrinkles by now. Chin-Ji didn't care. His room was not a secret place, and there were usually many ship girls here. These were considered normal. Opening the cabinet, Chin-Ji looked at the oath rings inside, took one and held it in his hand, then put it back after thinking about it. Forget it, there's no date today, let's take a day off. Anyway, I plan to stay in Iron Blood for a few more days, and I don't care about how much time I have today. Moreover, there are only a few people in the iron-blooded camp who need to give rings. Now Peter Strasser and the others are left. As for the others, Chin-Ji plans to wait. There are 50 rings in total, and Chin-Ji plans to give them to the ship girls in each camp who are close to him. But in this case, the number is very large, and we can only make some trade-offs. Just like the Northern Alliance, Chin-Ji only gave it to Soviet Rosia. Even for the royal family, Chin-Ji was relatively restrained. As soon as Chin-Ji lay down on the sofa, his door was pushed open. This surprised Chin-Ji and he looked over. It turned out to be Peter Strasser. Huh, it turns out it's you, who did I think it was? Chin-Ji looked away and stood up. Peter, what's wrong? Is something okay? Peter Strasser looked at Chin-Ji in surprise. Commander, don't you have any plans today? Plan? Chin-Ji shook his head. I originally had it before, but after thinking about it, I am in a rush these days, so I'd better take a little rest today, and then I don't have it anymore. Haha, I'm afraid it's not for this reason, right? Peter Strasser blushed and looked directly at Chin-Ji. I just came out of Prince Eugen's room. Ahem. Chin-Ji blushed. Although there is a reason for Eugen, it is not the root cause. I stayed at Eugen's place last night, and also stayed for a while in the morning, so I just returned to myself's room. I feel that even if we have a date today, it will be a bit late. In order not to make others feel regretful, it is better to go out early tomorrow morning. I see, but wouldn't this be a waste of a day? Peter Strasser said. Or maybe the commander has other plans today. Chin-Ji shook his head and said, no, I'm going to rest for a while and wait until the afternoon to walk around the hotel and chat with other people. The day is almost over. The plan must be determined every minute to effectively reduce the time wasted in hesitation and decision-making. I remember I told you this, Commander, Peter Strasser said. Yes, I remember. Chin-Ji nodded. Although it is indeed a very pleasant thing to complete one piece at a time within the scheduled time, but sometimes it is wasted occasionally. Time is also a kind of leisure, isn't it? It's only about 10 o'clock in the morning, and there are still about 8 hours until dark in the evening. Since the commander has no plans today, can you help me implement the plan? Peter Strasser smiled. What's going on? Chin-Ji asked doubtfully. Wasting time is the thing I disagree with the most, so if you want to waste time, you have to use other time to offset it, so go on a date, even if there is very little time, I will fully enjoy it, haha, laughed Peter Strasser. Ahem, I actually decided to go with you tomorrow so that we can spend time outside from morning to night, Chin-Ji said to Peter Strasser. Aren't they all the same? And instead of arguing with me now, it's better to make a decision immediately, Peter Strasser said. I will go back to my room to change clothes first. Commander, please wait in my room after changing clothes. He showed up at the door of my room. After Peter Strasser finished speaking, he turned around and walked away gracefully, leaving Chin-Ji standing there a little stunned. After a long time, he came back to his senses and couldn't help but smile. Tisk, you are really saving enough. He turned around and walked to the cabinet, took out the oath ring that he had just hesitated to put it in his pocket and closed the cabinet. Just when he was about to stand in front of the mirror and straighten his clothes, Belfast walked in through the door that Peter Strasser had not closed just now. "Master, are you going out again?" Belfast asked with a smile. "Yes, I originally planned to take a day off today, but someone just came over and told me that they wanted to waste time together, so I had to cheer up again and go out together." Qin Ji shrugged. "Haha, is this Miss Peter Strasser? I just saw her walking into her room quickly. She is obviously looking forward to this date." Belfast walked to Qin Ji and said. "In addition, Master, this outfit obviously cannot be worn out today. It smells like someone else's. It would be a bit bad if you wear this again on a date with Miss Peter Strasser. Let me help you get a new one." "Okay, but hurry up. You also know that Peter is very concerned about time." Qin Ji nodded. "Don't worry, no matter how much you care about time, you always have to spend some time dressing up when you go out on a date with your sweetheart." Belfast smiled, but did not stop holding his hands. "Ha, that's true." Qin Ji smiled. "By the way, has Bismarck been busy these 2 days?" "It's not too busy. I go to the Iron Blood headquarters every morning, come back at noon, and rest in my room in the afternoon," Belfast said. "Well, I understand, thank you." Bifa. Qin Ji smiled. "This is what I should do, Master," Belfast said. With Belfast's help, Qin Ji quickly changed his clothes, told Belfast, left his room, and came to the door of Peter Strasser's room. As in Belfast, 20 minutes had passed by the time Peter Strasser walked out. "You have to know that changing into these clothes took up a lot of my precious time." On the way, Peter Strasser said to Qin Ji, but there was a kind of excitement in his tone. "Okay, I will definitely use my time to clear your account. You just need to enjoy it," Qin Ji said with a smile. "Haha, that's good. My ship girl, my world." Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 754. There is relatively little entertainment in Iron Blood. Apart from the musical theater, there is only an amusement park, and the rest are pubs and cafes everywhere. The date schedule with Peter Strasser was full, including listening to music, visiting the amusement park, drinking coffee, and eating without stopping for a moment. Qin Ji couldn't help but think that this was not a date at all, but the completion of a task. However, under this tight arrangement, the date task was successfully completed, which made Qin Ji not know whether to cry or laugh. On the way back, Peter Strasser unconsciously raised his left hand, and then the lights on the roadside made the diamonds on the vow ring sparkle. "It's really beautiful, and with this special connection, I finally understand why those ship girls have been looking forward to the Ring of Oath." Looking at Peter Strasser's smiling face and the twin ponytails behind his back, Qin Ji couldn't help but smile. Perhaps they prefer spending time with their loved ones more than the oath ring. Peter Strasser turned his head, looked at Qin Ji and said, "The commander understands well, but is it a waste of time to pour out the experience between two people like this?" Qin Ji shook his head. "How could it be? The effect of wasting time is to make people feel empty. Only when time is used effectively can people feel sufficient. The emotions of two people together form a bond. They work together to do one thing and solve a problem together. This not only sublimates the relationship, but also greatly increases efficiency. Is this a waste? Yes, one person's power is limited after all, but the power of two people is much stronger than one." "I think so too." Peter Strasser laughed. "Yes, there will still be a lot of time for us in the future, and the future is still very long. Maybe one day when I am old, I will cherish every second of time like you do now," Qin Ji said. Peter Strasser was startled. "When you get old?" Qin Ji smiled and nodded, took off the commander's hat he was wearing, pointed at his hair and said, "Although I am still relatively young now, less than 30 years old, my hair is gradually turning gray. I don't know how many years I can live, I just hope that I will have no regrets in my life." Don't say these sad words. Commander is still very young. He will only be 27 years old after the Chinese New Year this year. There is still a long, long time ahead. And I will always be by your side. I will spend all the time with you, make full use of it, Peter Strasser said, holding Qin Ji's hand. Ahem, I understand. Let's not mention the time issue and talk about it more relaxedly, Qin Ji said with a smile. What do you think of August? That witch, Peter Strasser laughed. Although she gives people a calm feeling and is good at controlling people's hearts, she has some evil taste. Why, the commander is very interested in my plans, sister. Qin Ji smiled and said, I can't say I'm interested. I just feel that August and Zeppelin are similar. Haha, Zeppelin. Peter Strasser laughed. Commander, are you going to give Zeppelin a ring? Qin Ji thought for a while, then nodded. Yes, although Chi Bolin's character seems very bad, at least she stays very quiet when she is around me. Although she said she wanted to destroy the world, Siren Tide still acted very bravely this time. I think deep down in her heart, she loved the world deeply, but because her own experience turned from love to hate, it's a bit extreme. Conductor Feng's analysis of Zeppelin is pretty good, but when she says she wants to destroy the world, it's true, so you must be optimistic about her and don't let her make any regretful impulses, Peter Strasser laughed. I know, so I want to give her a vow ring. This ring is not only the connection between her and me, but also the connection between her and the world, Qin Ji said. Well, a good idea, Peter Strasser nodded. What about August? Does the commander also plan to give her a ring? Qin Ji shook his head. They entered the port area relatively late, so forget about the ring. Besides, we usually spend less time together. But what if others don't accept the ring? Then, it's so embarrassing. Haha, so having said that, the commander is still afraid of being rejected, Peter Strasser laughed. Relationships are things that come naturally. Just like you and me, we usually have very little time to talk about love, but we spend more time together. Although it is just because of work, it is also we are familiar with each other, so it was natural to get to where we are today. If I give someone a ring rashly after not long getting along, besides a ship girl like Cheshire who likes me very much, who else can accept it? Qin Ji said. But I haven't seen the Cheshire ring you gave me either, Peter Strasser said. The impact is not good. After all, how long have they been in the port area? If I give her a ring rashly, what will other ship girls who have been in the port area for a long time think? Qin Ji rolled his eyes and said. Haha, Commander, it's really interesting. Giving a ring is originally something you wish to give to whoever you want, but now it has developed into a situation where you have to care about other people's thoughts. This is putting the cart before the horse, Peter Stellasai said. Qin Ji shrugged. There is no way, I am the commander, I have to worry about everything in the port area. Not only in terms of combat, but also in terms of logistics, even your mood is also under my consideration. It is precisely because of this that I had the urge to give a ring this time. Regardless of whether this behavior is correct or not, as long as I see you happy, I am satisfied. Interesting, Peter Strasser smiled. Commander is indeed a very lovely person. Since you said that you are thinking about us and taking into account our mood, now I have a request, and I hope you can agree to it. Qin Ji asked doubtfully, what request? As long as it's not too much, I can agree to it. It's not too much. I just hope that Commander will make a clearer plan for his body in the future, so that you can have more time to accompany us and do the things you want to do. Peter Strasser laughed. Qin Ji couldn't help but think of this morning, so he touched his nose and said, well, don't worry, I will definitely pay attention to it. After all, there is still a long time in the future, and I also want to spend more time with you. Well, that would be great.